Welcome in or welcome back. Today we are going to be covering the summer equinox and essentially setting the tone for this season. I would have liked to have done this sooner, but I've been very busy and working on a lot of stuff. So we're doing it now. Better late than never. And I compiled a script that's based off of the Sabian symbols and a detailed analysis of the astrology, and we do deluge, which is, like, in my opinion, the most astronomically accurate astrological system, and it's also, like, universal. From the research that I remember when I did it, which was a while ago, like 3 years ago, it's associated with, like, the analemma symbol, and, like, you know, like, so, like, the universe, what is it called? I've shown the image before. It's not like the cosmic egg. Actually, I think it is kind of called that, but it's like the hologram. It looks like a figure 8, and it's got the white hole and the black hole. If you know, you know what I'm talking about, okay? So the deluge system's, like, revolves around all that. When I was doing my initial research, and I went down, like, several rabbit holes, okay? It also has something to do with Jesus. I honestly don't remember. I wish I took notes and wrote it all down, but I didn't. But anyways, so we're going to read from the script, but we do have some housekeeping that I would like to attend to. I don't really want to attend to it, but it's essentially a continuation, or like the missing puzzle piece from my earlier videos when, in the beginning of this second awakening that I've had, where I was revealing all of this weird stuff and, like, sharing way too much information, personal information about myself. But it was all for learning and for enlightening people, so I really, you know, it's fine. Is it embarrassing? Yes, but that was kind of the point anyways, you know, for my own personal growth and to help others grow by setting an example of being vulnerable and being okay with it. Hold on. Alright, I forgot to turn on Do Not Disturb, so I had to do that. Okay, so what this little piece of information is revolving around is a video the Leo King did recently, History in the Stars with Ann Wilkie. This video right here, Chiron and Taurus, which is, like, he's been saying he does tropical astrology, which is based off of, like, 10,000 years ago, and I feel like both are relevant because it's almost like your the past life energy. I know it has to do a lot with, like, the spring equinox, and, like, Aries and, like, the first house and stuff, but we're not getting into that right now. So anyway, it, you know, it has its value. It's whatever you subscribe to, right? But that's what this is about. I guess he's talking a lot about, like, I didn't finish watching this video because I was just, like, not in the right headspace to listen to it all, and I got really, like, freaked out by what I was revealed in this video, and I was just, like, so done. Because it's, like, it just feels so Twilight Zone surreal, and also just, like, fuck shit, like, absolute. And so he's talking about Henry VIII, which I think is, like, his ancestor or something. I wasn't being a very good listener. He's brought this up, like, 12 times. I just honestly don't remember. I've listened very intently to this man for years and, you know, can cite a bunch of stuff he said, but certain things I just zone out, and, you know, I do that with everybody, even myself, okay? So Anyways, I think he's a descendant of him. So this man had like 8 wives. He like beheaded a bunch of them, and and like the wife he's talking about her name is Anna Cleves or whatever, and like she apparently like she was like a catfish, and she sent like a picture of herself. It was like a politically arranged marriage, and she sent a picture of herself that was like flattering, and then in person he wasn't attracted to her. So he's like talking about how like Leos, especially double Leos, even though he's really a double Cancer, but like I said, whatever you subscribe to, tropically or Vedically, but I just personally really think the Vedically is the main thing here. I think that's why a lot of people don't like astrology, because they learn what their sign is tropically, and they're like, I don't resonate with that at all. And it's because they literally don't really have anything of that sign in their real chart, which is where the planets and the luminaries and all of that actually were when they were born. Whereas somebody like me, I'm a Libra tropically, but a Virgo Vedically, but Vedically, I also have Libra as my moon. So I still have, and I have a lot of 7th house placements. So I still have that energy like very prominently in my charts. Okay? So like I've always resonated with the Libra stuff. But then a lot of readers read for Libras and spout off all of this karmic type of shit, and a lot of people hate Libras, and I think it's because a lot of these Libras like aren't real. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but like they're not really Libras. Like they're more Virgos. Like they don't really have Libra in their chart, whereas I have both. I have Virgo and Libra. So like it depends what the other stuff is that people got going on. The top 3 or the big 3, your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. I think the rising is really important. So okay, let's move on here. I'm sorry guys, I have serious ADD. So he's talking about Anna Cleves, which is the 4th wife. This chick looks just like my friend Olivia, or she's not my friend anymore, but she was my friend 3 years ago, or going on 4 years ago, is it now? I don't know. But essentially, right before the Leo King met his now ex-wife, the Sophia chick or whatever, who I've said reminds me of Olivia, and it was really creepy because I, had a thing for the Leo King, and like as soon as I told her, she kind of like disappeared basically. It was very strange. It was all very strange. Spirit's telling me to shut up and stop talking about this. Okay, like I am gonna say this, like okay. Do you want me to say that? Yeah, water and earth spirits say yes, and then the air and fire say big no. All right. Whatever. I'm just gonna stay on topic here. So he's talking about how like attraction and like all this dumb shit, right? I'm not saying he's dumb. I'm saying, this base level vain shit is just, it's dumb. Okay? And oh god, it's just hard because I'm such an open book and I just want to speak freely, but I just can't anymore. I I'm trying so hard, guys. Trying so hard right now. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Okay, so we got this, whoever this is.
Where is she? I lost my page.
Oh, well, I think we can use...
Oh, no, here she is.
Oh, you have her there. Like, but, we'll use your...
Yeah, this chick. Literally,
so Olivia, Anne of Cleves was the solution. She was the solution in the same transit when Chiron went into Taurus in 1539.
You'd be laughing
there had been talks with the Germans. She was like such a, all about, prissy. We need a Protestant wife. We need a German wife. And people thought Anne of Cleves or her sister might be an ideal match.
Oh
no! How weird!
And so she has 3 sisters. I don't know why I was like looking up stuff on my computer. I could just do it on here, but hold on. All right, so this is her sister. She has 3 sisters. One of them is, so this picture here looks just like Olivia. This one, or no, this is her Amalia. This is her sister. And then I guess this is the other one. Amber Lynn or something. I don't know. Yeah, Anna. The Monstrous Regiment. Wait, what is this? The Monstrous Regiment of Women? But anyway, let's check this out. Olivia looked up, right? Ugh, now it's not. Now it's gonna be freaking ghetto. Hold on. Alright. So, looked up Olivia. Look what comes up, the screenshot that I took of Anna Cleves. It literally looks just like her. It is so creepy. This is her. So creepy. I know there's gonna be lots of people who are like, oh my god, like, obviously people have doppelgangers, it's like all the time. You're being rude and disrespectful and invasive and blah blah blah. And it's like, I don't give a fuck. You guys clearly don't understand. Because also, look, this is Destiny that I've talked about. She went off to the Peace Corps. And then all of a sudden, this was 3 years ago on my first major awakening, a tarot reader popped up that looked just like her. Also married to an African American gentleman that was who she was into as well. So go figure that one, right? She's the one that ended up suggesting that I burn my house down. That's the reader. And you could tell this reader was demonically possessed. She had some type of attachment. You could see the fire in her eyes. And then she had one of these things where it was like lucid, or like it broke through the 4th wall, which happens to me often, where a reader will break through the 4th wall and start talking to me directly. And it's like creepy, like very creepy. And she said, but it wasn't like she was talking to me, it was like she was talking to like the audience, but like that is aware of both the, like the watchers, we'll call them. And she said something about I'll take her 3 kids, like she said that. So she's trying to get me to off myself, and then she was gonna take my kids because she thinks I'm a bad mom or whatever. Granted, while I was friends with her, I wasn't being the best mom. I was like really like partying way too much, and I was just not okay. Like, I was not dealing with my trauma. I was not okay, and but yeah, whatever. Anyways, everyone has their problems, right? But so, and then this chick over here is like what I would think is like, so there's 3 of them. It's like the 3 witchy sisters. She was a fucking bitch to me. Hold on. Like, just one of those people that's like super jealous for no fucking reason and like shit like that, and just like being a bitch. Like a catty, like quiet, like bitch. Yeah. All 3 of them were like that. They just talk shit about me. Now, what I found really crazy was yesterday and the day before, somebody was knocking on my door, and it was like, again, this has happened, and I've documented this several times, or I've explained this as it happened, or the day of it happening, several times, where I was going through a moment where I was feeling good, I was feeling like things were going okay, maybe like my victories might be rolling in soon or whatever, and then all of a sudden someone comes knocking on my door and ruins my stuff, and for the most part it's been my father. But this time I could tell it was a female. I could tell it was like a creepy knock. It almost sounded like, it just did not sound right. It would remind me of her. Look, even her hands, like it's the same. And I'm just so creeped out. I need to get this off of here. Oh my god, I'm so creeped out. Like, ugh. So anyways, you know, I do want to say, before I continue, I do want to say I really did like love her as a friend, but she was like a backstabber. So whatever. Yeah, she was a backstabber for real. Like, just one of those people that's like super judgmental, thinks they're better than you, but then goes and does dumb shit. Like, I can't. And Destiny, the same thing. She would act like she was better than me, like one of those virtue signalers, and then go and do some weird ass dumb shit. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, bad dumb shit. I'm like, are you okay? Like, I can't stand people like that. It's like, you're gonna sit there and judge me, and then you're gonna go and do shit that's like 100 times worse. Like, you're so full of crap. It's just ridiculous. Alright, anyways, so somebody was knocking on my door. I didn't answer the door. Thankfully, none of my children answered the door, because we all know, if you've been following along, that my oldest son likes to do that and invite people in that I don't want in my house. So I didn't know who it was. I didn't even look out the window. I didn't care. They just creeped me out, and I was like, I'm good on that. So then the next day I was outside and they came around the corner. It was 4 little girls, which from my experience, these shape-shifting, like they're like Matrix agents, sentinels or whatever. They shape-shift. They're like encoded in the reality or whatever. That's what these people are, in my humble opinion, from what I've experienced. And they turn into little kids. They do all kinds of stuff. And also, it's like an emanation too, where like the great spirit, or like the undivided or source consciousness, God, goddess, is trying to also show you through example of others what is going on behind the scenes. So these children might just be regular children or whatever, but they're mimicking an energy of these 4 sisters. Because there's 4 of them, and with Anna Cleves, she has 2 sisters. There might have been a 4th one that we don't know about. But I asked spirits, before I made this connection, I asked spirits, because once I seen this, and I seen that Olivia looks just like her, I was like, okay, I gotta put these bitches in front of the mirror. If you know, you know what I'm talking about. The mirror work, the adjudication process that I've done. And I rolled the dice. I asked Spirit, how many are there? And Spirit said 4. And then I thought about the little girls, and I was like, there's 4 of them. Because then the next day I saw them. They asked me, they came rounding around the corner as I'm about to go to my car, and they're like, do you want to buy some lemonade? And they're holding this cup of like chunky white stuff. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? And then they're like knocking on my neighbor. I'm like, no, thank you. And then they're like knocking on my neighbor's door, and they go knock on the other door. I'm like, it was like comical though, because it would just like reminded me so much of these like characters from like these fairy tale movies where they're like almost like, it's like these like the witches that are just like a hot mess. They're like mischievous as fuck, and they're just a hot mess. Like I don't know how to explain it. But like when I was a kid, I would never try to get anybody to buy anything like that. Like that's disgusting. Like what the fuck? And I guarantee you they probably made money off of somebody. But that's definitely a message, you know, like they're out there trying to sell their nasty shit to people. They might be desperate right now, which would be great, because okay, so that's the message for that, and we're gonna leave it there. There is definitely something there with the whole beauty thing and all of that. A lot of people fall prey to that trap. I have a very hard time with it because I've been told I'm ugly like my whole life. Granted, not everybody has said I'm ugly, but like for the most part, I've been treated like I'm a creature with a double feature look, if you know what that is. And you know, I'm definitely not the most aesthetically pleasing person on the planet by far. But you know, it's like no one has ever given a shit enough to look deeper within or value me for what's inside. Whereas I've seen so many people value people that definitely aren't aesthetically pleasing as I am, and definitely not innerly as aesthetically pleasing either, and yet they're treated like royalty and shit like that, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So like there is definitely some fuck shit going on with that. People are just weird as hell, and I'm over it. I really don't care. And I think that if you're vain and that's all you care about, you're a fucking loser, and be happy living in hell. Okay? So okay, let's move on here. So I'm gonna start reading the script. Alright, so the summer solstice, a canon chapter of the Two Worlds Path, hybrid master structure, mythic noir epic with prophetic and shamanic elements. We were going to include this in the Two Worlds Path canon, but I'm not really sure because there's like a ritual and rite. There's two rituals and rites revolving around the equinoxes, and I was going to use this as an example, but I haven't read it. I like reading on camera for the first time, so I experience it with y'all. Or it's as if I'm experiencing it for the first time, because I am. So, like, you know, I don't know the quality of this one. I do tend to, I scan through them to see if it's, like, decent or whatever, and then sometimes I do read the whole thing, but this time I didn't feel like it, so you get what you're gonna get. But yeah, hopefully this will like kind of set a tone for like what to expect for this summer season. Alright, the stillness of the sun. The sun stands like a coin balanced on the lip of the world. On this longest day, the sky holds its breath. Between the hour of heat and the hour of cooling, the two worlds lean toward one another, and the seam between them thins. Hear this. The solstice is not a moment of rest, but a hinge. What passes through this hinge is not merely light, it is covenant, trial, and the possibility of becoming. Invocation. We call the stillness. We call the hinge. We call the witness who keeps the threshold. The voice that speaks this chapter is not a single mouth, but a chorus of shadows, the veiled witness, the council, the watchers, and the one who will walk. The chamber of the four watchers. The hall opens like a wound in the night, stone and shadow, brass and salt. 4 doors stand at the compass points, each rimmed with a star's light. East, Aldebaran Michael, the gate of dawn, a lion's breath of courage and protection. Michael stands with a blade of dawn light and a shield of promise. He is the first step into the new. By the way, in the Two Worlds Path, I added a bunch of books, and one of them is going to be talking about like the Arch Forces or the Arc Forces, which is like the 7 archangels, but it's made into its own original kind of like storyline and symbolism and stuff like that, but it's like based off of this. And I really like how it's framed. But, you know, here we're doing traditional, okay? So he is the first step into the new. Okay. North, Regulus Raphael, the gate of the king's heart. Regulus sits crowned in quiet mercy. Raphael's hands are healing, and his gaze is a map of integrity. He is the keeper of vows. West, Antares, Uriel, the gate of the setting fire. Antares is the ember of endings and the torch of discernment. Uriel's flame reveals what must be burned to be reborn. South, Fomalhaut, Gabriel, the gate of sacred waters. Fomalhaut is the mouth of the fish, the messenger of tides. Gabriel brings the currents of revelation and the language of dreams. They do not speak in the way mortals speak. They open and close like seasons. They are the watchers who will not be bribed by vanity or fear. I love that. The vanity coming up here. We were just talking about that. Litany of the Four Watchers, spoken in low cadence. Oh, something I just thought of that I found interesting that the Leo King said, which I don't know if I mentioned, because I started recording this video before, and then I accidentally pressed stop, and then I had to start over again, because I didn't feel like splicing it. I was like, I'm just going to start over. So I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I'm going to just say it again, because it just came up. He was saying something about Henry VIII after his wife died that he actually liked, which I think was like his 3rd one. Let me see. Yeah, Jane. Which, by the way, I found it funny because after I discovered this whole Olivia thing, I went and looked up to see if I could figure out if I resembled anybody from history, from portraits and stuff. I couldn't really find anything that I felt really looked like me at all, but Catherine of Aragon did come up because there's some app on Google that compares portraits from museums, and Catherine of Aragon came up, and that's his first wife, which I thought was really funny. I don't think I look like her, but anyways, so after the 3rd wife died that he actually supposedly really loved or whatever, but then Anne Wilkie was saying like, oh, it's probably because she's the only one that gave him a son. I don't remember what the Leo King said to that, but anyways, he said that he spent a year with the Fool, which look at my profile picture and then my whole lore and the whole thing with the Fool, and I found that really interesting. And then, but he was like hating on fools the other day, or not the other day, but I think in his last video, or maybe like 2 videos ago, he was talking about, he did like a 5-hour long video, which you have to buy, which my ass is broke, and I'm not trying to really buy anything from anybody. I might buy it, I don't know, we'll have to see. because I am interested, and I have learned so much from him, and I do enjoy his talks. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of times he really pisses me the fuck off. But I also feel like he's doing it on purpose for tactics and strategy and stuff like that. Like, but he mentioned the Fool card came out, it fell on the floor or whatever, and then he mentioned how he talks about that in the 5-hour-long video. But he was kind of like talking shit about the Fool card. It seemed like he didn't really go into it, but I don't know. I don't like that when people just like go back and forth on things. You're definitely welcome. Just change your mind. Contradiction is a way of life. You know what I mean? Like, I've contradicted myself probably so many times. But, and like, there needs to be a balance on things. Like, you know, I think, like I've said so many times, balance is key in life. And, you know, so like there's good and bad aspects of the Fool archetype. And that's why, like, in my one deck I have like the Wild card Fool, and then I have the Trickster Fool. So yeah, so there it can be like, you know, the good and bad of whatever, but I think people need to have more of a clear distinction when they're analyzing and judging things, or like putting their opinion out there about certain things like archetypes or whatever it is. Because there's too much vacillation going on, and it's very confusing for people. Okay? Especially when you're in a leadership position and you got like tons of followers, you know, listening to you, and then it's like you're just putting out all this confusing stuff, and it's like, I'm not saying he's putting out tons of confusing stuff, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying a lot of people do that, and I've probably done that too many times, and I try not to, is all I'm saying. I think it's important for people to think about that and try not to do that. I knocked over all this stuff. Hold on. Okay. So, let's continue. Sorry, guys. I don't know why that... I just thought about that. Oh, maybe... I don't know. Oh, I think I thought about that because one thing he's mentioned is he talks about Antares being evil. And I'm like, isn't Antares is Uriel, one of the archangels. So, is there facts behind that? Like, where is he getting this information from? I don't know. People just make claims and then they don't explain themselves, so I don't know. Maybe he's probably explained in the past, but like, you can't just assume people know what you're talking about every single time. You have to put a preface there, you know, like, or at least try to keep that in mind. Especially when you're demonizing an entire archetype or being, you know, aspect. That's like with Algol. Algol is a double. Hold on. Okay, so what the fuck? Now Algol is 3 stars? I thought it was 2 stars. Now it's 3? Dude, I did my research on this shit. I made a whole ass poem that ended up like becoming prophecy and shit, like coming true, based on my knowledge of Algol being only 2 stars, but apparently now it's 3. Algol A and B, a close pair of stars that regularly eclipse each other every 2.87 days, causing the system's brightness to visibly drop. Algol C, a third fainter star that orbits the central pair from further out. While 3 stars are confirmed, some astronomers also suspect up to 2 additional, much dimmer companions. Oh, that's interesting, because there's 4 witchy sisters, and then if you were to include me, because I somehow am involved in all of this crap, there might be 5. I don't know, just because we're on the topic of the witchy sisters and like all this stuff, this is getting brought up, so that's just where I'm going. My mind just goes with that, okay? Could have nothing to do with that. I'm just saying. But anyway, why I brought this all up was because I thought it was just a dual star system. I know, like, it's considered the demon star, but then it's like one star shines brightly and then the other one dims. And for me, in my poem, I took that as like one in their shadow state and one in their benefic, like, north node state, or whatever you want to call it, right? I like to look at it as like White Moon Selena and Lilith Shadow is what I kind of like use in my card readings and stuff, for those two energies to kind of like the blessings versus the shadow. Even though like the shadow work is a blessing of its own, but hopefully you understand what the hell I'm saying, okay? I can only explain so much, alright? Alright, let's continue here. But yeah, so I was just saying, there's dual aspects of beings, of archetypes, of everything. I feel like there's dual aspects of everything. Everything has its shadow side and its light side. So to just completely demonize something, I feel like is the wrong way to go. Granted, there are beings and archetypes and whatever that could be primarily shadow side or dark side, whatever you want to call it. Dark and light side. Ow, fuck. I just hurt myself. Okay. So, let's continue. The Council of Aspects, a Noah conclave. The council is not a meeting of... Wait. Did I even read any of this? I feel like I didn't... Okay, they do not speak in the way mortals speak. They open and close like seasons. They are the watchers who will not be bribed by vanity or fear. Yeah, we read that. Litany of the four watchers, spoken in low cadence. Michael of Aldebaran, open the east. Raphael of Regulus, stand in the north. Uriel of Antares, hold the west. Gabriel of Fomalhaut, pour the south. The watchers take their posts. The chamber breathes. The council assembles. Part 3, the Council of Aspects, a Noah conclave. Alright. The council is not a meeting of polite minds. It is a theater of contradictions, a courtroom of the soul. Each aspect enters as a character shaped by its Sabian symbol and the chart's alchemical weight. The charming courtier, sun through Gemini in the third, cloaked in cultivated ease, he offers refinement and the danger of gilded complacency. The twin guardians, Moon, Virgo, 3 degrees. I think I said in the third for it's 3 degrees. Okay. 2 hands that steady the trembling. They bring protection and the quiet discipline of service. The Frost Teller, Mercury, Gemini, 26 degrees. Pale, precise, the voice of winter's root. He counsels patience and the wisdom of hibernation. The nurse of the hidden master. Venus, Cancer, 12 degrees. A woman who recognizes the soul's secret greatness. She tends the seed of future light. The imagination forger, Mars and Nibiru, Aries, 27 degrees, 6th house. A smith of sacred action who remakes lost chances through disciplined service. His forge is the daily task, the tended body, the humble act, repeated until anger becomes skill and will becomes medicine. Ooh, I like that one. The flag bearer of new allegiance, Jupiter, Cancer, 1 degree. A sailor who lowers the old standard and raises a new one, the moment of choosing. The quiet inspirant, Saturn, Pisces, 16 degrees. A monk of discipline who receives the flow of inspiration in silence. The bridge builder, Uranus, Taurus, 6 degrees, 7th house. A mason of the impossible, laying stones across the gorge of separation. He breaks brittle contracts, shakes the mirror of partnership, and teaches that true union liberates rather than binds. The crossbearer in the midst, Neptune in Pisces at 7 degrees. A pilgrim whose faith is a shaft of light in the fog. The veiled prophet, Pluto in Capricorn at 7 degrees, masked, authoritative, dangerous with the power of words. The wounded comedian, Chiron in Aries at 2 degrees, a jester whose laughter opens the wound and lets the healing in. The metamorphose said rabbit spirit, I can't say that word, Lilith in Scorpio at 23 degrees, a creature of sudden ascension, a reminder that the body can be transfigured. The moonlight dancer, Vulcanus, Cancer, 7 degrees. Two fairies dancing on a night that remembers the sea. The nodes, North Node Aquarius 4 degrees, South Node Leo 4 degrees, the healer of the future and the hunter of trophies from the past, the path forward and the weight left behind. They argue, they seduce, they accuse, they reveal the chart's spine, a soul called to transmute the 8th house crucible into a public light, to balance the sun-moon knife edge, to turn Saturn's wound into a discipline of sacred service, to make the ordinary day an altar, and to let relationships become mirrors of freedom rather than cages of dependence. Council moment. The veiled prophet speaks and the chamber hushes. The veiled witness asks the audience to listen not with ears, but with the skin of their attention. What do you bring to the hinge? The prophet asks. What will you lower and what will you raise? The flag bearer answers. What will you burn and what will you baptize? Uriel and Gabriel trade the question like a blade. This is the diagnosis. This is the naming of the work. Descent through the 7 gates, a guided shamanic journey. The council's debate is the map. The descent is the road. The audience is invited to move from witness to participant. The veiled witness becomes the guide. Preparation, spoken softly. Sit or stand, breathe. Let the body find its center. If you are in a group, form a ring. If alone, mark a small altar. We begin. Gate 1, the gate of stillness. Mercury at 26 degrees, winter frost in the woods. Scene, a hush like frost. The frost teller lays a hand on your forehead. Teaching, dormancy is not failure, it is root work. Transformation, you stop forcing growth and allow the inner root to thicken. Guided moment, breathe in 4 counts, hold 4, exhale 4, feel the cold settle like a sharpening whisper. I rest to grow. Alright, so I'm not a big fan of this like format that's going on here. It's like tedious and kind of boring. I personally don't like it, but I feel like it could be helpful if you want to use these aspects that are in the energy and use this method. This is not the idea that I was trying to go for with this script. Because it's very choppy, it's not like cohesive, and it's just like I wanted it to be like a story, not like breathe 3 times and like AI's pissing me off with this shit. Because this is like the second time now that it's just giving me crap. But, alright. You know, you might find value in it though, and we're just gonna continue. Because sometimes, you know, a lot of times, you know, I'll read stuff and I'll be like, oh my god, this is crap. Then I'll read it again. I'll be like, oh, it's actually good. So yeah, it just depends on your perspective in the moment, I guess. And I'm also, you know, kind of in a bitchy mood. That doesn't help, right? Okay. But yeah, I mean, regardless, this is not what I was going for. So, pre-reading would have helped, but it's fine. Can't always get what we want, but if we try, sometimes we get what we need. I don't know, that's what Spirit's saying. Where are we? Okay, hold 4 count, breathe in 4 counts, hold 4, exhale 4, feel the cold settle like a sharpening whisper. I rest to grow. Okay, so taking it easy is being recommended here to be able to rest and not overdo it. Gate 2, the gate of protection, moon 3 degrees, 2 guardian angels. Seen 2 luminous figures step into the path and form a corridor of light, teaching you are not alone. Guidance arrives when you ask. This is one I haven't seen in the Sabian symbols. I don't think I've ever seen it. Maybe once. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. Transformation. The sense of being lost dissolves. Guided moment. Visualize 2 hands at your shoulders. Feel steadiness. Whisper, I am guided. Gate 3, the gate of duality. Aries, 7 degrees. Expressing self in 2 realms. So resting, knowing you're protected, knowing that you have guidance, trusting the universe, trusting fate to lead you on the correct path. Angel numbers came up heavily yesterday when I was out and about. We had 444 or 4444, and then we had 777, and it was so cool. My son picked out his own shirt, and it was his baseball t-shirt from last year, 2 years ago, and he was number 77. We're at the park, and then this like buggy style car, like an old school hot rod, it was so cool looking, drives by, and there's a giant 7 plastered in the middle of it. And then on the way to the park, there was a construction sign that said 4444. I was like, and both of those mean you're on the right path, with a little bit of nuance, but essentially that's what they both mean. So I found that really interesting. So there's that energy there that the angels are like protecting the collective to be on the right path. Okay? You just have to not resist it and try to control things to an extent where you're like being with that like energy that I've explained in my past 2 readings that came up. That like OCD, like psychotic controlling type of energy, which me as a Virgo, I tend to feel that energy quite often, and I think that's why it's good. I didn't read the script beforehand because I would not have been pleased with it. I would have tried to get 15 different other versions, and you know, we got to find value in what we got here. The universe presented this script for a reason, so we're going to appreciate it and do our best with it, okay? Let's see here. So, the gate of duality, Aries, 7 degrees, expressing self in 2 realms. Seen, 2 mirrors rise. One shows the life you live, the other the life you long for. Teaching, integration is not fusion, it is honoring both realms. Transformation, you choose where to place your center. Guided moment, name aloud one role you will honor, and one you will release. Whisper, I hold both worlds with care. Yeah, so that's like a balance between control, like recognizing what you can control and what is out of your control. So it's like empowering, while not also resisting the current of the correct path. All right. Gate 4, the gate of purification. Taurus, 1 degree, a clear mountain stream. Scene, a mountain stream appears cold and bright. Teaching, purity of motive clears the path. Transformation, you wash away the residue of old loyalties. Guided moment, step or touch the water. Imagine ancestral hands guiding the flow. Whisper, I am cleansed by lineage and purpose. Yeah, so like not having connections and ties that are restricting you from going on this correct path. I just did a huge like cord cutting thing. A squirrel brought like a black walnut over by my garden, and then I was getting all these messages about like black walnut bass. So I ended up like doing that, and I was scared because I heard like I read all this stuff that it could like make your skin get boils and all this other stuff, but I did it the proper method. And was it like this like astronomically like whoa experience for me? Not really, but it was freeing in ways because it was scary because and it was a process that had a lot of steps involved, and like it was scary because I never done it before. I didn't know if it was gonna stain my skin and like, you know, but I took steps to prevent that. You just put like oil all over yourself and in your tub. You like rub your tub with oil. So and you just make sure it's the proper ratios of the black walnut whole water dilute concentration versus the bath water. So anyways, imagine ancestral hands guiding the flow. Whisper, I am cleaned by lineage and purpose. Gate 5, the gate of release. Gemini, 28 degrees, society granting bankruptcy. Scene, a courtroom dissolves into starlight. Debts are forgiven. Oh, Rion was talking about this the other day on Unite the Collective. He has some new like show he's doing with Arcturus Ra, and he said something about a jubilee. Is that what he said? That something, I think that's the word he used, but he was saying like there used to be this event of sorts, or like tradition where every 100 years or so all debts would be forgiven and wiped off the board, but they just kept all these debts, and then everybody's inheriting all these debts over generations and generations, and it just produces so much oppression. So that's interesting that this is in the astrology. Teaching, second chances are social and personal. Transformation, you let go of what binds you to old stories. Guided moment, exhale a long breath and imagine a ledger burning. Whisper, I am free to begin again. Yes. And I did this essentially when I threw the bath water out. You're supposed to like collect a little bit of it and throw it away at like a crossroads, which I've never been into that. I think it's weird, and like with the whole Papa Legba and things, but it was funny because I just did it like at like a crosswalk, like sidewalk that like had foot traffic, because it's about like the energies, like there being like a lot of energies in the area, and you're essentially throwing it off into that area. So I guess it kind of like confuses the spirits that you're releasing or whatever, and gets them kind of like in this like torrent of energy, is just my understanding of it. And then you're not supposed to look back when you walk away. Your eyes are like portals or whatever, so it can like, they can go right back into you. I don't know. Something interesting is like right before I took the bath, my finger got cut open. This one, which is, I've told the story, the horror story with me and my children's father, and like this is the finger that like was involved with the scissors thing. And I found it interesting that this was the finger that got cut.
Battery 13%.
Hold on. I really hope I was recording this whole time. I don't even know if I was. Because I keep, like, pausing it and then... Alright. If I wasn't, I'm just gonna scroll up. Y'all can, like, pause it and, like, read it yourself. Like, I don't know. This is good shit, though. But that sucks if I really wasn't recording this whole time. Because this is a new app I'm using, so I'm a little confused. And I also just get confused naturally because I'm a ditz. But... Alright. Where are we? Fuck. The Mystic Healers. Eggshell. Okay. The Eggshell Child. Oh, I got a fucking headache. I need to drink some water. Hold on. This is taking too much. This is taking too long. We need to hurry it up here. Alright. Step 6, coronation. Under the brilliant sun, Leo, the veiled witness, anoints each participant with a drop of water and a touch of the stone. The moonlit dancer circles and scatters a silver dust of laughter and light. Ooh, we like dancing. Step 7, sending the 4 watchers speak their final words. Seal below. The veiled witness closes the circle. Ritual words, example. Yeah, crap. I don't think I was recording like this whole time. Oh my god. That sucks if that's the case. Hold on. Alright. I lower the old flag that bound me. I raise the new banner that calls me. I walk between the worlds with a steady heart. 6, seal the 4 watchers, archangelic benedictions. Each watcher steps forward and speaks a short benediction. Speak these aloud or listen as the veiled witness intones them. Michael of Aldebaran, east. Walk into the dawn with courage. Let no fear unmake you. Raphael of Regulus, north. Carry the king's heart. Heal what you must. Keep your vows. Uriel of Antares, west. See what must be burned. Let discernment be your torch. Gabriel of Fomalhaut, south. Receive the message of the water. Speak what the tide reveals. The watchers do not bless for comfort alone. They bless for truth, for the labor of becoming, for the courage to be seen. Closing of the gates, the return. The veiled witness lowers the lantern. The chamber contracts like a lung. The watchers return to their posts. The council dissolves into the walls. Final charge. You have crossed the hinge. You have been named, and you have been named. You have been named, and you have named. Okay. The 2 worlds have touched. Carry the light into the ordinary. Let the work be slow and fierce. Let every daily act become service. Every discipline become prayer. Every fire become useful. Let partnership become a field of truth, where disruption clears the false bond and freedom strengthens the living one. Let the public life be the altar of your inner transmutation. So take 3 breaths, ground, share a single line of what you will do in the next week to honor the vow you made. If in a group, speak it aloud. If alone, write it and keep it near your altar. And that is the message for y'all for today. And I will catch you on the next one. Bye!